Hey everyone, this is Professor Matthews with a very brief video on how to go ahead and find rubrics in Canvas for you to all understand, because it helps you get a clear understanding for any assignment that has a rubric, but how you're going to be evaluated and graded by me. So I am going to go ahead and share my screen now, and I'm going to switch over to the student view. So bear with me. There we go. Okay. So we are in student view now, and I know that our assignment for week 1 for module 1, our discussion, has a rubric. So I'm going to go ahead and go to assignments, and then I'm going to go to this one right here, the one that hopefully everyone is already in the process of completing for week 1. And you can see a couple things. So right up here in the right-hand corner, you see those 3 dots. Click on that and click on Show Rubric. That's going to appear anytime that you have a rubric. This is the module that we're going to use for each and every discussion, okay? And you do have this in place again for week 1. So you're going to get the most points for this first area when you are being very clear in demonstrating original thought, when you are showing analysis and depth to your thinking, and you're providing new meanings and insights. That's going to be the highest points possible. You're going to get a little bit less if you've only got mostly substantive or relevant content that does demonstrate, though, again, logical thinking and reasoning. You're going to need a little bit fewer points if you've got minimal understanding of the discussion topic, right? So in this developing, it's demonstrating that you're struggling with the content bit. And then there's just limited original thought and limited supported viewpoints. Unsatisfactory is going to be when you clearly demonstrate that you don't understand the discussion topic. The comments that are provided are irrelevant, they're off topic, they're just not tied back, and there are no evidence or examples that are used. Connection to course materials is the second area. For this one, you're making really strong connections back to the course content. So that means that you've got references being made back to readings, to videos, to anything that, again, is sort of included in the module. You've got at least some scholarly citations that are included in here that, again, always have thoughtful connections back to the module. So this is something like where you're saying, hey, in module 1, this article or this TED Talk, and then you're giving it that scholarly citation using that APA format. That's critical there. You're going to get a little bit less points if you've got some connection back, that for the most part things are being clearly stated, right? But it's not that like perfect score per se. And you do have in 7.5 accomplished, you do have at least one scholarly citation here too. Developing means that there's very little connection being made back to the readings, that you really, when you're making the reference back, it's more of an inferred reference. It's not cited in that scholarly citation. And then you'll get no points whatsoever if there's no connections made back to the readings or the other course materials, and any sort of response has no scholarly citation. Okay, third up is going to be contribution to the learning community. This is going to be you engaging in the discussion. So having back and forth with your peers. You've got to get the most points, you've got to have at least 2 responses to peers. And in the most points, it's really that you're demonstrating like a connection back. So you're just not doing like point, counterpoint, like you're actually like having a lively discussion. That's the highest points possible. 7.5 points accomplished is going to be when you're you're still making contributions, you're still responding to at least 2 of your peers, but it's just not quite that like perfect level as it is described here. Developing is like, you're like somewhat participating, you're still responding to peers, but you've only responded to at least one of your peers. You're occasionally interacting, right? It's really not like a viable part of your day-to-day, sort of responding to these discussions. And then you'll get no points if you don't respond to any peers. And if you just when you do sort of make posts, it's like good point, right? It's not really engaging in the content. Last up is writing quality. You're going to get the most points possible if things are very well written, no grammatical, no punctuation, no spelling errors. You'll get 2.5-ish points if you show like average writing style, minimal errors, minor errors with things like grammar, spelling, and punctuation. And then developing means that you're very casual in your writing, right? So it's demonstrating more errors than you do have in the other two categories, and you'll get no points if it's below average writing. So full of errors, whether it be spelling, grammar, punctuation. Okay, so that's how to get to the rubric. Again, make sure that you're doing that for all of the assignments, just checking to make sure that if there is a rubric, you're aware of it and that you're leveraging it. And that's all for now. Thanks, everybody.